to us. So I know some of you are using household products or different things for your heart bed, and I'm so happy to hear that you got it all set up, and I can see that you do. So let yourself get good and comfortable here. And then once you're comfortable, close your eyes and just notice how you feel. Nice. Beautiful. And then nestle. Now we'll put our state-of-the-art timer here. Get that sand dial going. There you go. Nestle your little back, the small of your back in, and then unfurl the whole spine, and just notice with the eyes closed what you've brought into your practice tonight. You can heel toe your feet just a wee bit wider if you'd like. Have the inner knees knock, or you can place something right underneath, like a blanket or a cushion, a sweater, whatever you have close by underneath the sit bones, if your lower back is sensitive tonight for whatever reason. Or go ahead and lengthen through one leg at a time and feel into your lower spine. Let that dictate where we're going to go in this pose, our opening pose, that raises the heart each exhale. So you might notice that as you inhale, the heart might feel like it's rising right up. And each exhale, the shoulders might feel like they're sinking softly down. A little rock to the back of the skull as you start to settle in to what you've brought into your practice tonight. Tune into your breath and notice, where is that breath coming in? Is it low in the belly? Is it a little higher up in the rib cage? Or maybe way up in the heart center? There's no right or wrong here. It's the noticing. As you notice, your awareness will grow, that internal environment. So from here, go ahead and bring your palms on the lower rib cage. So your fingertips are in the direction of each other, and your palms are laying right nice and comfortable with the elbows on the floor, right on that lower rib. So as you inhale, you might even feel a little bit of an expansion outward, a little press, and as you exhale, a lowering. Or it might feel like it's not moving at all. It can go either way. And then we'll come into our pranayama, our breath work, after 2 cleansing breaths. On your next natural inhale, invite that breath all the way in and up, and then out through the mouth. And then again, inhale nice and full and deep. And then exhale it all out. On your next inhale, feel the rib cage. Let it splay outward into the palms. And as you exhale, lengthen it with your awareness down to the hips, down to the spinal column. Inhaling, allowing it to splay outward. Exhale, lengthen, 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 downward. Feel your breath as you inhale. And as you exhale, very little muscular effort, down, down, down. Wrapping around the vital organs. Each exhale, lengthening it down. As you lengthen that front of the rib cage down, reflecting that, flexing the breath right into the back of the lungs. Opening up all those dark corners that might be a little bit stagnant for whatever reason. And gaining this oxygen advantage. So notice how you're doing this breath and how it feels. We'll bring it into a few of our postures today. So in this passive back bend, this is a very difficult breath. Notice how well your body is able to lengthen that rib cage each exhale. For 2 more here. Then let go of the effort now. Let the arms come down, knuckles heavy. Feel into the belly rising and falling right here. And then go ahead and if your legs are splayed out, bend one knee. Pick one leg to bend the knee. Drag the heel till you feel the full foot rooted, planted on the floor, and then the other. Press into both feet and lift the sit bones just a hair off the floor. Lengthen it towards the heels and then lower. 2 more times like that and choose a different height each time. Lengthen, lengthen towards the bottom of the mat. Let it lower. And 1 more. Let the sit bones become super heavy and then roll over to whatever side feels better. Come right over to that side and press the props either lower because we're going to come into Flamingo. So we're going to come into a pose where we need a lot of room. So move your props right out of the way from the arms, from the upper body. And then come into your body scan with the knees bent at first so that you're flat on your back. And you can notice how that feels from the shoulders through the arms. You can lengthen through one leg at a time. And just notice how that feels. Nice. A little rock at the back of the skull to settle in here. Feel the back of the skull, the tipping spot of the rounding. Keep it a micro movement, a very small movement where you feel very little. Just a little bit of weight at the back of the skull, a little rock this way, a little rock that way. And then hit the pause button, come into your stillness, and notice from the back of the skull, fan broad and wide to the shoulders. Notice underneath the shoulders, the weight coming down, through the arms to the fingertips, without moving all the way down the torso to the lower spine to the sit bones, all the way through the back of the legs to the knees. Send that silent thank you to the knees for carrying you and bringing you exactly where you need to be at exactly the right timing, right here and now. Let the toes wriggle, feeling the back body from the heels through the legs, all the way through the torso to the back of the skull. What does that imprint, if we were laying in the sand, what would it look like? What's heavy and what's light here? Scan your body. And another breath just like that. Feel into your starting point from the inside out now. And then go ahead and bend one knee at a time and feel the drag at heel. And then the other side. Drag the hips over to one side and roll over to the other. And we'll come over to that side for your flamingo. So let the legs rest. So one top leg rests on that bottom leg. And you might love to have no pillow so that the head comes downward, and it might feel like heaven on earth. Or you might grab yourself a blanket and let your head rest on the blanket. Not too high up at an angle. You want to be on the same plane as the spinal column here. Top hand rests in the bottom hand. And feel into the shape that you're now in. And just notice how that feels. Feel that top leg, the big toe. This is your highlighter. So that the big toe on that top leg, draw a line down to the bottom of your mat and let that top hip come forward and outreach that bottom hand just a wee bit. You can pause there for a breath, 2 or 3 here. Feeling into that shape, relaxing into that shape a little more, bending that top knee, and feel into the rib cage, to the shoulder, maybe the forehead's on the floor. And then drag that top leg. This is the flamingo part. Top leg drags. Feel the drag across that lower leg. Let it really create a little friction up towards the belly. Notice what the hand is doing. That top hand, let it drag the length of that lower arm to the shoulder. You might even press to the heart center, the sternum with a press. And then let it unfurl. Let it lengthen all the way out if you can. Head rolls in that general direction, maybe. You can spend a breath or 2 there. And then slowly, when you're ready, coming in and out of this one continually. So slowly, that arm can come back the way it came, dragging its way through. The top leg can drag downward, hip forward, rolling onto your forehead. Slowly, continually moving or pausing wherever you'd like, any place. Breaking this up in detail, whatever suits your body today. Adding on when you'd like to. So know that any of those add-ons, these explorations that you'd like to do are perfect. So maybe that top arm as the leg comes upward towards the ceiling, like an arc, all the way up towards the ceiling, all the way down, the nose can follow. You can come in and out of that variation. The top leg can keep dragging, or it can have lift off if it feels good to do so. Thigh towards the belly, maybe even more as you come out into that full winged twist. Full body integration here. Light little squeezes and releases called pendiculation. That's the difference between somatic yoga right there. Pendiculation versus stretching. So feeling a little something, you're doing it right. You load the muscle at varying degrees here, exploring, and then you relax and soften. So wherever you are, one more. And then you can come back into your body scan on your back when you'd like. Arms by your side, knuckles heavy. Beautiful. Nice. Feeling into the differences. Take that highlighter right up the center, the navel center, and notice the side that was on top that was moving a lot, from the toes to the knee, on that side to the hip, to the shoulder, to the center of the brain, all the way down the other side. Notice if one side feels light and one side might feel heavy. This swirling, this tingling, this vibration of some sorts. And one more breath, just like that. And then go ahead and bend one knee. Feel that side and then the other. We're going to come over to the other side, so sway the hips over to one side and then roll over to your other side. It's okay if you have your back to me. And then come right over on that side, where the top hand is resting and the lower hand, head might be down. This side, you may need a pillow if that lower shoulder doesn't like it, or if maybe you're a little headachy, or for whatever reason. Maybe you're like, you've done way too much yoga this week and you might have a little injury. Injuring yourself from doing too much. Whatever that means for you. And then feel this shape. And then when you're ready, draw that line with the top toe downward. As that top leg lengthens, let the hip come forward and notice that top hand outreach the bottom hand and pause there for a breath, 2 or 3, into the back rib cage. Forehead might be down on the floor, and just notice how that feels for you. When you're ready, you can drag that top leg, thigh towards the belly. And as it does so, the top hip comes back, carrying the shoulder with it, dragging the hand across the length of that arm, heart center, and coming way out, whatever that is for your body tonight, lower than the shoulder, upward, pausing there for a breath or two, or continually move. Maybe this side has gotten the memo and it can really come in and out of this easily. Feeling into the lower back, the muscles wrapped around the sit bones, all the way into the rib cage tonight. Having some fun. That's the name of the game. Let the corners of your mouth curl up as you explore. That top hand can come up in an arc, like you're painting that rainbow, that colorful rainbow all the way around you. You can even move the fingers. The arm can remain up and you can twist it one way and then the other. Have some fun. Know that that top leg can have lift off on this side or drag, a micro movement. You never have to go these grand gestures. This is an integrative pose, so the whole body speaks to each other. So it helps with coordination. Working out the kinks and erasing any dull ache that might be lingering. Repetition is magic in this one. So how about one more on this side? And then come into your body scan when you're ready on your back, and you might already be there and we'll meet you. Or maybe you want to do another one. Scanning your body nice and flat, feeling into what's heavy on the mat, noticing the vibration of some sorts. And where is that in your body tonight? Beautiful. And how about one more breath just like that? When you're ready, you can go ahead and bend up at the knees. We're going to come into side crunch. It's a lengthening and a shortening of the sides of the body. I like to think of it as a side cat and cow of the spinal column. So witnessing that. So as you come to your side, any which way that feels good, bend that bottom arm and use it as a pillow. Top leg is bent, laying right onto that bottom leg. The knees can be below the hips a wee bit. Then you'll reach the top arm up towards the ceiling. Lengthen from the elbow up so you feel that tug. And then wrap that arm around the crown so the fingers can touch the lower ear and you can hold the head. Hold the head up at an angle so the lower arm can come outward, and now your knuckles are your new pillow. So feel into this shape. For some of you, this will feel delicious. And for some of you, this might be too much. So you might need a pillow underneath those knuckles. You might need a blanket, maybe just even just a little more. Beautiful. Take another breath in this shape and just notice what it's like in your body. Feel that top elbow to the hip on that top edge as you breathe now. On your next natural inhale, feel the lengthening of the elbow coming upward and the hip moving downward. Lengthening, lengthening. As you exhale, relax and soften. 2 more like that. You'll inhale, elbow comes up, hip down, and then ha. And then 1 more. Inhale, lengthen. Feel the spinal column come up, arcing off the floor. And as you relax, it comes down. We're going to come into that just a little bit more through some movement now. So feel the inner knees. Give them a light little squeeze, like squeezing a baby's little chubby calf, little leg, little knee. So not too much of a squeeze between the inner knees. And then let the top ankle foot float up as the inner knees stay together. And then let it lower. 2 more times like that at varying heights. You choose, coming upward and then downward. And then 1 more. Nice. As it comes down, let it relax and soften, soften. And we'll invite the top half now in. So go ahead and take your next inhale and lengthen the elbow away from the hip. As you exhale, let the head come up a little bit, the top foot a little bit. Feel the connection of the top elbow to the heel. And then as you come down, inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, a little lift at a different angle of the foot and the head. Coming down with an inhale, lengthen. Exhaling up, feel the spinal column now. Stamp down as the head comes up, ankle up. As you come down and you lengthen, feel the spinal column arc up off the floor. And how about 1 more just like that? Know that you don't have to do this many. So 1, 2, or 3 are plenty. And then you can roll onto your back. Knees remain bent for our body scan this time. Heel toe your feet a little wider so that your inner knees can knock effortlessly towards each other. Once you're there, go ahead and feel into your outer heels to the outer knees. to the outer hips, all the way up that outer edge, through the rib cage, through to the armpit, the shoulder, all the way up to the back of the skull. And take that deep dive now through the brow where you think the center of the brain lives. And send it a little peace, a little love, and a little appreciation. And let's pause here for a moment, dedicating this practice to yourself, allowing that to move outward from this place of peace, this heartfelt calm, this appreciation for yourself, pouring out into others. And one more breath, just like that. We'll come on over to the other side by walking the feet up, dragging the hips over to the other side, and rolling onto the side, the second side. Use your lower arm as a pillow. And there's no hurry here. So if you wanted to stay where you are for a little longer, please do. Top arm can reach up towards the ceiling, eyes are closed. So you can feel now that top arm. Feel the elbow, like someone's pulling that elbow up, just a light little traction up from the elbow. Feel that top shoulder. And then coil from that place around the crown. Let that arm come around the top of the head so that the fingers now can be at that lower ear, thereabouts, to lift the head up. Lower arm can come outward. Then the head comes down maybe to the floor or maybe a cushion or just even just a little bit of a lift off. Maybe you have a fold in your mat or a blanket. Then come into your breath, and as you inhale, feel the lengthening start to come from the elbow coming up, the hip going down. As you exhale, you relax. Take your time in this place. Inhale, lengthen, elbow coming up, away from hip. So feel that top edge. And then let your awareness float down to the spine, to the lower edge. You can bring it all together when you're ready. You can press the inner knees, break it up in these little bits and pieces, these details. If you've been living in a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, any dull ache, break it up. Let the lower half move first. But if you have a freedom in your body and there is no dull ache, then you can go right into it. So inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, when you're ready, the ankle can come up, the head can come up, maybe just enough to get a piece of paper under the knuckles. So explore with the eyes closed so that you can really feel these varying degrees of exploration, knowing that going 100% is not the goal here. Exploring these little details You load the muscle in these different ways, and then you allow it to relax in the end. So how about one more? Feeling the smoothness, the fluidity of this movement. Muscles that are required for it. And then when you're ready, when you feel complete now, go ahead and roll onto your back. Let the legs splay, arms by your side, knuckles heavy. And just notice what you notice. Notice where your awareness floats to, where it goes to. Beautiful. Option to keep the knees bent always. Beautiful. And one more breath in stillness. If the knees are splayed right out, then and the feet are out, let the toes have a little dance of joy. Then go ahead and bend one knee at a time and leave the hands right on top of the pelvis on that iliac crest. And the elbows down onto the floor. Feel the feet rooted and planted on the floor. And let one hip, whatever one wants to come up, press that foot up into the floor and let the pelvis come up on that side as the other side lowers and becomes heavy and rolls on that outer edge. Press the hand down into that side and let the other side slowly, slowly come upward. Notice if it feels like it's one piece. And when it starts to become a little bit more fluid-like, a little bit more elastic-like, from one side to the other, one hand lowers and presses that side down while the other hand comes up with the pelvis. And one more time, just like that, rocking from one side, allowing it to lift and then lower. And then the other side comes up. Leave that side up and take that hand that's on that side, palm down underneath, and roll onto those knuckles. Roll to the other side, so you're rolling on that top of that hand, and place the other hand underneath so that the thumbs touch and the first finger touches, creating a diamond shape so that you have a diamond shape underneath right at the back of the pelvis, so that you can feel the weight of the pelvis on top of the knuckles. Knees are bent, and you're feeling that weight coming down into the knuckles. On your next natural inhale, feel the tail, the tip of the tail come over the fingertips as you inhale. The chin might come up and both elbows might come downward. As you exhale into the navel, you might feel a flattening as the top of the pelvis comes over the thumbs. So now we're coming from top to bottom of the pelvis. Inhaling, arc, let the elbows come down, the chin come up, exposing the neck Exhaling into the navel and flattening, feeling the top come over the thumbs. And one more just like that. Leave the hands there now. We'll come around the clock now. A little dance around the pelvis. So a little hula hips here. Let one hip come up, all the way up. Feel the other hip create some weight into the wrist. Then take the tail downward, all the way down over the fingers. Over to the other side where one hip comes down, other hip up, and then feel the top of the pelvis come over the thumbs. So now we're coming to the outer edges of the pelvis in a circular motion now. Feeling around the fingertips, around the arms, the wrist, the thumbs. Notice if it feels smooth and easy to move like this. And then the other direction. Notice this circle. Does it feel like a dance? When you'd like to, take the hands out and continue with the movement on the floor. And feel the pelvis on the floor moving in this beautiful dance. Around the pelvis in a circular motion. And then the other direction, maybe a little quicker. If you can become playful, if you're living in a lot of pain, maybe you've come into your resting already. Perfect. And then we'll meet you there. Let yourself rest. Heel toe the feet wide. Let the inner knees knock, knuckles heavy. Or you can have the hands right on that lower belly for some warmth. Feeling through that belly to the targeted area of the pelvis. Notice how that feels from the pelvis through the legs, from the pelvis to the shoulders, to the center of the brain. And then one more breath, just like that. Nice, beautiful. Then we're going to come into a variation of flamingo called otter. So you'll be on your back, noticing what that's like on your back here. Knees are bent. Take one hand right to the heart center, so the sternum. Press that sternum down. Keep that press into that hand to the shoulder, to the length of the arm, like we're pressing the body down, and let the knees sway in that direction. So you're pressing through that arm, pressing through the fingers, and then all the way back to the sternum, to the heart center. Then the other hand comes to take the place, and you press down through the body. Like we're wanting to make an imprint in the sand. So you keep that press. And we move playfully from side to side, like a massage, noticing what you feel. Beautiful. Nice. Nice. Beautiful. And then coming into your Shavasana from here, taking whatever you have beside you, using your blanket as a blanket, your bolster as a bolster underneath the knees, and allowing yourself to come into final resting pose. Take anything that feels better and use that for your comfort. If you're feeling quite warm, then maybe just a little bit of weight on the belly to help with that relaxation response. Beautiful. Nice. Let the muscles around the eyes release, letting go of whatever we're holding on to here. The jaw will slacken a little more. The shoulders sink down. Feeling that weight all the way through the torso, letting go a little more. The legs, any deep-seated exhaustion, this lightness. The soles of the feet, super soft as they receive. Let the body rest here now. As we push that restart button and connect to our inner flame. Each breath fans that fire. Each breath, this light moves outward. Feel into the breath as it starts to expand in all directions. Take yourself inward to the center of your heart as you tap into this space. Your mantra. This is a great time to be alive. This is a great time to be alive. Feel as you reset to that heart-activated, resistance-free flame within. And rest in the knowing of this precious moment. The card that was drawn for our class tonight, Divine Joy. Joy might just be below the surface, ready to emerge like a flower, ready to bloom. Divine joy may be just below the surface, ready to emerge like a flower, ready to bloom. Divine joy. Allow the breath to deepen here. As the breath deepens, feel and sense your awareness start to float upward into the fingers as they move the toes. A long, luxurious stretch. A hugging inward. A little roll from side to side. Pausing on one side and feeling that psyche can come and pat you on the back for showing up and giving yourself this gift of presence. Your family will thank you. The community and the world thanks you. From here, like a sonic boom outward, all this joy. Go ahead and press into the floor and come up into a comfortable seated position. As you find your comfortable seat, the knees don't have to bend. You can lean into the wall or whatever you have by you. It's a beautiful thing. Let yourself rest. Use your blanket to keep you warm, and palms can come together. Feel that gesture of appreciation, this warmth towards yourself. Bring the thumbs right nestled into that heart center, that flame of the heart right there. Give it a light little press. And then take a deep breath and feel your heart rise upward. A light little bow as you pour this goodness from your heart outward to all. Namaste. And thank you for your practice.